We have the pleasure of having Jeff Wordell, who came down from Washington State. He's late because he ran into some awful construction traffic, and you can't predict that. You have to take that into account. I've known Jeff now, in fact, he and his wife Lori, for about 7 years or so. And Jeff has always been one of the premier trainers in this company. Jeff has a team that he has built from the ground up, very successful. And he's also now going through certain parts of the country helping other individuals build their own agency. And so that's one reason he's here tonight, to lend a hand, his expertise, and how all of us can expand our horizon if we're going to go into business for ourselves, build us a financial services team, and expand that across the United States. We're not limited to just Sacramento or California. We are in all 50 states, and you are able to do business in all 50 states. So we've waited long enough. Thank you for your patience. Without further ado, Jeff Wordell from Freedom Equity Group.
Most of you I know, so you can explain to the other people that I'm normally never tardy. And I teach my children that excuses are like armpits, we all have two and they both stink. So with that said, as I'm pulling up some things that we're going to walk through, let me ask you a quick question. How many people in the room have no idea why they're here? They were drug in from a friend and I just wanted the food. Okay, so has everybody in here seen the opportunity presentation that Freedom Equity Group has on its site, the recorded or the flip chart or the PowerPoint? No. Okay, some of you have not. Okay, so I'm going to speed through that. So Chuck and Colleen have instructions. When I start, I have talked at 2 speeds, 100 miles an hour with gusts up to 220. So they're locking the doors, you can't get out. There's a seatbelt under your chair. I'm being sarcastic. What I'll do is I'll go through the opportunity relatively quickly. Because what I want to do is I want to cover 4 major things. And we can do it quick, so we're not going to waste your time. Number 1, what is it? What is it? Why are you here? What? How much money can I make? If you want to take some notes, please do so. Number 3, can I do it? Can I do it? Then number 4, how? How? The roadmap. And so we're going to chew through those things, and it is now, I got 7 o'clock, and we'll be done in 1 hour. I'm done at 8 o'clock, which means I'm going to go through this really quick, which means you're going to have questions. Here's the cool thing, is everything you're going to see, Chuck and Colleen already have. You can review it over and over, and I have been on a road trip, wrong button, for the last 2 weeks. Bear with me here. I learned that a long time ago I cannot walk and chew gum. And talk and click on a computer is the equivalency of that. And I might hurt myself.
It was great.
So there's that one, and I got one more I need to pull, and then we're ready to go. And that would be right here and here. You gonna open up, Mr. B? There we go. I'm trying to minimize the short little quippy little jokes. Now, make sure if you got some questions, write them down, because I have so much I got to cover. We'll get to questions at the end. And the dumb question, believe me, there is a dumb question. It's the one you didn't ask. So ask. Oh, that's a dumb question. No, it's not. A little bit about me again. I've been doing this for a long time. I tripped forward. I saw an ad in the paper said make $7,000 a month. I went, I can do that. Didn't care what it was. I just wanted the end result. I didn't know it was financial services. I did not grow up thinking that I wanted to sell insurance. Ugh. That's just one rung below used car salesman. double hit. You'll also realize that my wife and I are all about our family. Our youngest is 13, so if I talk like yuck and puke, it's because I got little kids and they get that part. And I've learned that if the kids get it, this old guys get it, and old gals, we get it too. So if we can make it as simple as a child, it works. It's fun. And I started this, I was green behind the ears, and nobody believed me. I was sharing the secret of the ultra wealthy. I tripped forward. I found myself after a year being with Transamerica downtown Seattle, and they were doing payroll deduction UL. What's that? Let me ask you a question. I see some people who are about my age-ish. When E.F. Hutton talks, what do people do?
Listen.
Why?
Knows what he's doing.
Tax-free. What they did is, see, now just a little history, because I like to know if you know where you came from, that gives you an idea where you can go. The ERISA laws were passed in 1978. Now in that was an area of the code allowed employers to offset taxes to hire more people, to bolster the economy. That was the idea. There was an area of the code that allowed them to write that off, and that area of the code was called 401k. It was never designed for a savings vehicle. That's not what it was designed for, but a financial advisor in 1980 goes, oh, what a great place for employees to put money. They could do it too, and offset taxes, and he took it to one of his employers, or one of his clients, and the client said, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to save money now, and wait until I had more money and taxes are higher later and pay taxes then? Well, that's kind of stupid. But our government said, oh, what a great idea. See, they didn't want to tax your $100 a paycheck 30 years ago. They knew that 30 years later, 10,000 people today would be hitting age 65. They are going to need the money then. So with all due respect, they set us up, my opinion, because nobody with half a brain would agree to pay taxes on the entire apple tree when I could only pay taxes on the itty bitty seed that grew the apple tree. That was wisdom, but that's how the 401k works. Well, previously to that, the #1 savings vehicle in this country was life insurance. And people go, what? How? What? Life insurance? No, that's for when you die. No. See, it's in the code, and it's 110 years old. There's area of the code 101 and 7702. I'll talk about that. You'll see, you have to remember all this stuff. We have it recorded for you. It's kind of cool. But that area of the code says you can hook a trailer to a life contract, dump as much money in it as you want, and they can't tax it. Beethoven did it. Babe Ruth did it. I'll show you his picture. Walt Disney. Heard that guy, Mickey Mouse? Yeah. He funded Disneyland tax-free out of a life contract. It's not new. Just not taught, because our government, God bless them, won't teach what they can't tax. Now, for you naysayers, they're going to get rid of it. Why would they? They're controlled by the same tax laws we are, and they don't want to pay taxes either. That's why it's still there. But they're going to teach what they can tax because they run the country on tax dollars. They've got to. Well, a company saw the writing on the wall. The problem with whole life insurance is what Walt Disney did, is it wasn't user-friendly. You couldn't, once you had it, you couldn't put in more. You couldn't put in less. If you had a bad month, oh well. So it only really worked for the wealthy. So what this company did is it went out and they invented the first flexible premium life insurance contract, called it Universal Life. Then they went to the IRS and got them to give it the same tax-free status as whole life. Now what was going on is companies, corporations, that were taking their $1 million pension plans and dumping into this 401k because pensions were way too expensive to administer. It was getting too big, too hard, too expensive. And this company would go, whoa, stop. Don't put your money in that, it's taxable. Put it in this. You can make a similar or same rate of return, and it's all tax-free, and here's the IRS law that proves it. Now, if you had $100 or $100 million, and you saw the law that said it was legal, would you do it? Yeah. I like it. Yeah, that's a good answer. How about over here? I didn't hear. I'm audience participation, and I will embarrass myself. I'll tell people jokingly is that, you know what, be thankful you don't live with me, but pray for my wife because she does. She's not here, so I can make that joke. But yeah, I do it. Well, people did in droves. Well, the company was E.F. Hutton. People listened because it wasn't taxable, it was tax-free. That's why. But E.F. Hutton, they were kiting checks back then. You remember how we could float checks, SOP? Yeah. You could write a check and I could wait a week. I didn't have to cover that for at least 5 or 6 days. It was like a free loan. E.F. Hutton was doing that. They would write a $3 million check from their Philadelphia bank to their LA bank, use that money interest-free for a week to 10 days before they had to cover the check. That's called kiting. It's illegal. They paid millions and millions in restitution so no one would go to prison, and that's why you don't hear about E.F. Hutton anymore. But the thing is that tax-free thing never went away. Never went away. It was always there. It's just the sex appeal now of this 401k IRA. People, your average working person could say, I have a stock portfolio. Well, I felt important. They could look like and feel like the wealthy. Well, guess what? They could also lose money like the wealthy. So, that's when I got into this game. I got into this game when the 401k was just starting to just go ballistic. Well, then reality set in, and now it's got all the ups and downs. We'll talk about that. But what we've got is we have a time-tested program backed up by 100-year-old companies. We don't hope this works. This is not some startup thing. We're not trying to build an airplane as we're flying it. Think about that. How many startups do that? We hope it works. Hey, you're in on the ground floor. There ain't no floor. We're building it. Hold on tight. Backed up by 100-year-old code. 100-year-old companies have made it through 2 world wars and the Great Depression. That's what we have our hands on. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because there's a death of the American dream out there that we're going to talk about. More than 3/4 of Americans believe that downward mobility is more likely than upward. Do you think that? Do you believe that? That's where most people are right now. America is now on its way to becoming a renter nation. Home ownership is a 50-year low. If you had a choice, would you rather rent or own? Own. If I want a pink wall, that's my wall. I'm going to paint it pink. If you're renting, you need permission. And if they don't like pink, oh well. You want to own if you have that opportunity. So for all but the highest paid workers, wages have been stagnant for 3 decades, folks. Things have got to change. 31% of people approaching retirement age have 0 pension, nothing in savings. They don't. Americans who have worked for dissolution for signing sonors about that we're losing the. Please replace the lamp. Basically, people will feel they'll never be able to retire. Then there's another bullet point down here that says the American dream that's been around for 250 years is on life support. And for many people, it may already be dead. We're here to tell you it's not. We're here to tell you there's still the chance you can still achieve your dreams in this country, and we've got the path. It took a while to build the foundation. When you build a building, what do? What's the first thing you do after you draw the plans out? Well, you dig a hole. There it is. I heard it back over. You dig a hole. You got to go down before you go up. Well, we did that. We went down. We dug the foundation. We've laid the cornerstone. And we have a system that has been put together, backed up by 100-year-old companies, backed up by a 100-year-old code in the IRS law, that you can lay your head on the pillow about and not have to worry. So we're talking about your new world of money. So think about it just real quickly with me. We want you to live in your dream home. Are you achieving your full potential? What do you want? What is it that you need? What do you, maybe just a better car. My first car when I was in college was two-tone blue and rust. And the best accessory it had was a set of jumper cables. Now it was also a clutch. Now for you, I don't see any really young kids. But the thing is, I lived in Spokane, Washington, where it snowed 6 months out of the year sometimes. Well, try popping the clutch when it's icy out.
Oh, geez.
That car don't start. Says you need the jumper cables for it. And they didn't have cell phones back there.
Right.
So you had to just go knock on somebody's door. Have a jump. You did what you had to do. Well, I'm just saying is, how about a car that you can trust will start? How about a car you know won't break down on the freeway? Peace of mind. Now that's a Tesla. Cool car. Now if you're going to have your cool car, do a chance. Once you get it, take a picture of it on the beach. That's kind of nice. We want you to take your dream vacation. Now, that may not be your dream vacation. Some people don't like water. But let me explain to you what we will all agree is a dream vacation. A dream vacation is to be able to go where you want, take whoever you want with you. stay as long as you want, and come home with more money in your bank account than you had when you left. That is a dream vacation. Instead of coming home and going, I maxed out both credit cards, honey. I told them I'm gonna pay this off, and I haven't worked in 2 weeks, which means I don't have a paycheck coming. Or what actually more people are doing nowadays, they don't go on a vacation, they go on a staycation. You stay at home because you can't afford to go nowhere. That's not life. The thing is we all grew up, man. When I was young, I was gonna be Mighty Mouse. And don't laugh, he was very cool. What do you want? What did you achieve, or what did you want to achieve? I'm telling you right now, you can still have your dream, your goal, your ambition. I just want you to start thinking tonight of what that is. What do you want? Because at the end of the night, I'm going to ask you a question. Here's the question. I don't want an answer, but here's the question. The question is, if we can help you get what you want or need, will you do what we ask you to do? Now, no answer right now, but that question, I'm going to hit you right between the eyes with it, because I promise not to waste your time. In the last 2 weeks, I put 3,500 miles on my motorhome. We're taking this to the streets. I actually pulled the slides out for you all want to come. We have a meeting after the meeting. We'll have a glass of wine in the motorhome. The air conditioners are on right now. My 14-year-old's out there doing a skateboard thing. You can pet the puppy. He came too. My wife had to stay back in Washington State. Her mom is 76, and there's some estate issues. She has to meet with the estate attorney and that kind of fun stuff with the state of Washington. But otherwise, she would be here. But if we can help you get what you want or need, will you do what we ask you to do? That's the question. Our goal is to help you achieve yours. So what is it that you need? Think about that, because we're just saying is we want you to save for your retirement dream. Now retirement, understand, is not an age. You don't have to be old to retire. You can retire anytime you want as long as you have what? Money. You can retire at 25 if you have the money. Mark Zuckerberg, you know who that guy is? Facebook. He don't have to work no more. I think he just turned 30. Wow. That's not fair, is it? I'm saying here is that you can have what you need. What is it? For a lot of us, what it is, it's just more money at the end of the month instead of month at the end of the money. You hear? That's all we want. What is your need? What's your dream? What's your goal? What is it that you would like to achieve and obtain? And I'll share with you mine a little bit later as we go through this. But I told you I want to pick up some speed and move on. This is your chance to be part of a revolution in one of the largest industries on the planet, which is financial services. It's a $7.3 trillion industry. Compare that to other business opportunities out there. What's one of the biggest ones out there? You know, if you want to make money part-time, things like that. Health and fitness, that's the big one. Nutrition, you know, weight loss and vitamins and stuff. Did you realize that's $11.8 billion industry? Billion with a B. That's it pales to our $7.3 trillion. There's $470 billion of new money comes through our business. Pales. They pale in comparison. There used to be 1.2 million licensed people in this country. Now because of the housing bust and the dot-com bust, there's 418,000. The average age is old. And we're getting older. Within 18 months, a year and a half, 25% of the licensed people are going to be gone. They're retiring. This industry pays $200 billion in commissions every single year to fewer and fewer people. My question is, how much of that $200 billion do you want in your bank account? How much would you want? 10%. Most people, I always have somebody say all of it. Who said all of it? Who thought of it? Come on, all of it. Yeah, absolutely. 1%, you could retire your entire family and their family's family. That's a lot. And it's here for you should you want to take this. Our market is massive. It's 200 million people in need of common sense savings and retirement solutions. People need to make more money. The first bullet point, there's a few others we're not going to see, and that's okay. But 50% of college graduates cannot find work in the area that they studied when they get out of school. People need to make money. They need opportunity. Now, our government will tell you that, hey, we're doing great. We just added 280,000 jobs. Whew. You realize every single one of those is a part-time job and you can't make ends meet on it? State of California is approaching 25% underemployment. 51% of this nation's population, I'll give you the statistics here later, can only find a part-time job or no job at all. It means over half of the people you see driving up and down the Sacramento freeway are part-time workers. They probably have 2 or 3 part-time jobs because that's all they can find. And all they're doing is they're just going by the philosophy, you live, you pay taxes, you die, and life sucks. It doesn't have to be that way. We found a way. We've actually figured out a solution and a system to help you get there if you're willing to do it. It's not hard. A blind dog with a note in his mouth can do it. And I'm going to prove it to you. Kind of giggle. He just got to bump into enough people who read the note. The note says, watch this. And I'll even show it to you. The path is already put here. Our crusade is to protect American families to retire with wealth and living benefits, all tax-free. Now, Chuck showed you this living benefit thing, and I'll explain to you what that means for the new folks who don't understand it. For you people who've been around the block a few times, you're going to hear it again. But you're going to hear it in a weird kind of twisted fast-forward version. Because I hate selling. Selling is the #1 paid profession in the world. For one reason, it's hard. Not everybody can do it. So we don't build our business model around something that's the hardest thing in the world to do. So don't think you have to sell anything. This is simple. It's fun. And we change lives as we move forward. There are 3 problems in this country. Let's talk about the first 2. There's 2 guarantees in life. And only 2 guarantees in life. What are they? Death and taxes, right? Death and taxes. Those are the 2 guarantees. That's all we got is death and taxes, death and taxes. Well, or basically they tax you to death, right? Now we don't go along the road paying our taxes and someday die. Well, that's tragic. Some of us do. But most of us go happy along paying, maybe not happily paying taxes, but paying taxes. We get sick and then we die. Doctors are doing a good job. 70% of people who are diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, or cancer don't die. They live. The problem is who pays the bills if they're sick? If they die, there's a cost. There's 3 things in this life we're not going to avoid. We're going to pay taxes, we're going to die, and we're going to pay taxes after we die. They dig you up and burp you one more time. That's the estate and probate tax, and you have to, the people you leave behind have to pay. Well, did you know you can actually leave money tax-free that they can't tax? It's backed up by 100-year-old law. 101 and 7702 talk about that. Life insurance is not taxable. Why? Widows and orphans. That's why. Because who dies first? Us guys. What do we leave behind? Widows and orphans. Widows and orphans should not. Women and children first. Watch the Titanic movie. That'll prove that right. They shouldn't pay taxes, so it's not taxable. Well, did you know that when a life insurance policy is issued, the insurance company has to have enough cash on hand if you died today, and they're audited for that liquidity every single year. And the companies we work with have passed that liquidity test every year for 100 years. I'm going to tell you who they are. So the companies we work with said this: why not give them the money if they get sick? It's already there. It's already on deposit. It's no magic. It's incredibly powerful. The thing is there's a big problem. There's a huge gap between health insurance and life insurance called critical care. 75% of us are going to need it, yet 95% of us don't have it because it's too expensive to buy. We're able to close the financial gap on that. Now, if you're going to start a business, why not start a business that services the only 2 guarantees in life you got? Death and taxes. So if you can service those 2 guarantees to people, we close the gap if you got sick. Did we help service that if you got sick or died? Yeah. How many people need what you got? All of them. Why? Because we're all dealing with the very same 2 guarantees. Let's talk about problem number 2. Most of our country's retirement savings is wrapped up in banks, precious metals, 401ks, and IRAs. And a large percentage of that money will be lost to risk, fees, and taxes. Taxes. 101, that 100-year-old law, they can't tax it, right? It's in their own book of rules. Well, you can hook a trailer to that, dump as much money in it as you want, make a stock market rate of return even on real estate and gold, and they can't tax it. It's been the secret of the ultra-wealthy in this country for over 100 years. We just need more feet on the street telling the story. So here's the question. If we can show you how you can legally opt out of paying taxes on a portion of your income, would you want to know how to do it? Yeah. Even the IRS agent says, yeah, tell me more. Because they don't know it either. They don't. I've had people call me from their accountant's office saying, oh, tax, it's a scam. I said, really, look up the law. They don't know. So, if we can help people, if they got sick or died, if we can help people opt out of paying taxes on the money they save, by the way, if there's no taxes, there's no age 59 and a half, which means you can retire anytime you want, there's no taxes. This program privatizes your savings. We get the government out of your pocket. How cool is that?
Very cool.
And they're doing it too, so they like it. Nothing wrong with that. So, have you ever gone in science class, in chemical science class, and you have two inert chemicals that don't do anything by themselves? What happens when you pour them together? Boom, right? Foam or something happens. Well, guess what? Same thing happens here. You help people with problem 1. You help people with problem 2. Problem 3 is out of the way, and that's money, income. You get paid to tell people about it. So real quickly, I'll walk through these problems. Every year, over 6 million people are diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, or cancer. Number 1 cause of bankruptcy, sickness. Not the medical bills, is the fact that you don't go back to work. So if you're not working, who pays the bills? It's a worse than death, critical illness, money fear. 95% of this nation's population doesn't have protection against it. And we have a program that can give that financial gap closure for free. F-R-E-E. There are good 4-letter words out there, by the way. That's one of them. And we help people with that. This is a humongous deal where we can help people exactly do that. Sounds great though, doesn't it? Will it work? We've been recommending these programs for the better part of 10 years now. And you saw a video proving that it worked. Johnny was our first claim, and you can get just a term life insurance policy. You don't have to be saving money. If you can't afford it, that's okay. You can start with a term life insurance. But it pays you if you got sick. Again, the life insurance policy is already the insurance company already has that money on deposit if you died. They're audited for that liquidity every year. The companies we work with pass that test for the last 100 years. Peace of mind, I like that. So Johnny got sick. This policy was $20 a month cheaper than the one he had that wouldn't pay him if he got sick. He only had it for 5 months. They confirmed that they didn't know, and no one knew he had the cancer. They put $344,000 in his bank account. We made a difference. Bob in San Diego liked this program so much, he worked for the VA administration, he started doing this part-time, was making more money part-time than he was in his full-time job. Went to the gym with a sore leg. Lou Gehrig's disease. 9 days later, they deposited $189,000 into his bank account. Dozens of claims are pouring in. Greg up in the state of Washington, $198,000. You saw this guy, there's Dr. Jonathan, had his policy for 3 weeks. He was doing $5,000 a month, because he could. His medical bills were $130,000 above what the health insurance companies would pay. Without this program, it would have devastated his family. In the video, he didn't tell you how big the check was. It's right here. Oh, by the way, we made it a little bit bigger for you. Oh, come on, now, work. I was on a roll, too. Did I hit this? That works. All right. It's $734,000. Maybe I have to hit this button right here. All right. There it is right there. We made a difference. I met this gentleman. He was so excited. You got to notice that it is, thanks, Chuck. He's actually in a bar. He's having a drink. Having a glass of wine with his wife who was behind him. This was real. This is not a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Life is not a dream. Life is real. This is real, and this works. Amy Tan, single mom, nurse, had a policy for 4 years. In December, just about 9 months ago, $500,000. Folks, a week doesn't go by where we don't have a living benefit claim. We change outcomes for the better. We take the moral high ground. This is so incredibly stunning that PBS heard about this. In America is a program hosted by James Earl Jones. They did a documentary. You just watched it. We're on Fox Business News. We're all over the country. But no one plans on getting sick. We don't plan on that. We want to live, right? We want to live and fill our bucket list, be 80 years old, jumping out of airplanes, because our bodies still work, right? That's the plan. I like that idea. But the thing is outside of what we do, the statistics are scary. Back up 36 years when the first 401k was introduced. Back in 1981, 96% of this nation's population was dead or dead broke. And only 4% can retire with $40,000 or more in money, in income. Forward 36 years later, now the 401k was supposed to be the savings miracle for the American worker. Did it work? Let's look at the statistics. Out of every 100 people today, 27 die young. The good news is most of us will make it. I'm sorry, but you people won't. The rest of us are good. You don't know. I'm just I'll carve it out the way I like it, and I'm on that side. But of the people who make it, 19 have incomes less than $7,000. 50, that's half, have incomes from $7,000 to $45,000. And with inflation adjusted 36 years ago, that $45,000 still doesn't buy what that $40,000 did 36 years ago. Add this up. It's 96. 96% of this nation's population 36 years later is still dead or dead broke. Einstein said it the best. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So when you stop the insanity, there's got to be a better way, and there is. Most of our country's retirement wealth is locked up in 401ks and IRAs. According to the White House, these fees in these 401k plans cost Americans $17 billion a year, reducing retirement savings by 60%. The money that's left over is subject to the highest taxes in the land. There is a better way. The biggest problem is we're living longer. Who's going to take care of us? The government, they spend $1 trillion more than they make. I don't know if Social Security will be around. I'm not a betting man. Don't know if I want to bet on that. The company pensions are a thing of the past. The 401ks didn't work, so my wife and I thought we figured it out. We have 9 children on purpose. We're a Brady Bunch on steroids. I have 3 children from a previous marriage. She has 3. We have 3 adopted children, 2 from Cambodia, 1 from China. But we also learned that our 35-year-old still calls and wants a loan and needs money. So our children, they can't afford to take care of us either. We figured that out. We're living longer. So in retirement, now remember, understand, retirement's not old. Retirement is money. Do you want to be dependent or independent? Independent. According to Time magazine, babies born today, and it says right down over here, will live to age 142. In fact, they're saying that that baby's already been born. You want to be independent on your own, and there's a huge gap. 80% of retirees today outlive their money. There's too much life at the end of our money. Social Security was only designed to last for 2 years. Did you know that? 2 years. When FDR came out with this Social Security thing, hey, everybody ponies up and pays a little bit. When you retire, you'll get this amount of money until you die. Well, you retire at 65. Life expectancy then? 67. 2 years. It was only designed to last 2 years. We're living 2 decades. Wasn't designed to last that long. There's got to be a better way, and the solution is this time-tested 100-year-old code. Life insurance as a savings vehicle has been the #1 savings vehicle for 100 years. That's what I was taught when I was 25. 75 years back then. Well, I don't know how long I've been doing this, but a long time. This is a big deal. Indexing, we didn't have that 25 years ago. What's that? Well, here's what the market looks like. Now, right now we're running up, and that's good. But the way indexing works is you can participate in market gains, but if the market goes down, you keep the money in the account. So our clients, family, and friends operate in the blue line. When the market tanked in 2007, we kept the money in the accounts. When the market came back up, we took off from where we left. With these programs, you never play catch up. You're never behind the 8 ball. So when the market goes down, you can sit back, have a glass of wine or a cold glass of water, and say, let her fall. Because it doesn't affect you. Peace of mind. If there's anything we sold, we sell sleep insurance because we sleep at night. There's no stress there. I like that. In fact, there's a guarantee in these programs. A guarantee rate of return that will even outperform a down market. It follows Warren Buffett's 2 rules of money. We have all heard of that guy, right? Warren Buffett? He had 2 rules of money. Only 2. Would you like to know what they are? They didn't sell me on that, Chuck.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what his rules of money are?
Yeah.
Okay, some of you haven't seen this, and some of you have. Yeah, I've seen this, Jeff. He has 2 rules. Rule 1, don't lose your money. Rule 2, don't forget the first one. Such a big deal that Tony Robbins writes a book on it. Not just a little book, a 600-page book. Invest like the wealthy. Folks, it's been around forever. You don't lose your money in these programs. You want to be in a 0 tax bracket in retirement. This author proved, according to the Department of Health and Social Services, our top tax bracket could go to 88%. Who believes that that's not possible? Too high. Anybody? Well, usually I have room of 25-year-olds, and they go, no way. The decade of the 1950s, some of us I think were alive at that time, 91% for an entire 10 years straight, 91. We're paying off war debt. Our debt-to-income ratio as a country just exceeded our debt-to-income ratio after World War II. Taxes have to go up to pay the bills. We have 10,000 people a day hitting 65, tapping into Social Security and Medicare, and will for the next 9 years straight. How do you feel about that? Anybody here under the age of 50 in the room? Okay, you're not a baby boomer, all right? I am. He is. No, he's younger than me. We'll pretend. The thing is this, is guess what? When I'm collecting my retirement, you're paying for me. How do you feel about that? Oh, by the way, you're paying for 10,000 of me who got born on the same day as me. How do you feel about that? Did you know you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you save? And it's been around for 100 years? Well, let's just share this. Let's let people know who's protecting your nest egg when the stock market crashes. It's the old way versus the new way. People have been putting money into the market. Market tanks. We pay commission fees and taxes to buy some real estate, because real estate never goes down, right? We'll pay more commission fees and taxes to jump out of that thing to buy some precious metal and gold. Gold never goes down. Yes, it does. More fees and taxes. And it's this vicious circle of fees and taxes. Inside the protective bubble of a life contract, you can make the rates of return, index, death benefit, living benefits, tax-free transfers and loans without the fees or taxes. Folks, it's life insurance you don't have to die to use. How many people, if you're religious or not, play along with me. If heaven was real, how many people would want to go? How many people want to die to get there? The pastor in the back goes, me. Hands go down. That's the entry fee. Well, guess what? With what we do, we're able to give a little bit of heaven on earth, because you don't have to die to get this. How cool is that? This is a way to ensure you that money will be available throughout your lifetime when you need it most, whether you die too soon, get sick along the way, or live a long and healthy life. This is here. And, let me back up. Here's the question. This is real. I'm going to share with you the company names who back this up. So, who needs what you just saw? Honestly. Okay? I've been doing this almost 30 years. I've never met a person with that name. Don't answer, but just think of somebody in your mind who needs this. Because heart attack, stroke, cancer has touched every one of our lives. Every one of us. Whether it's been direct or somebody you know. It's touched every one of us. People need what we have. People need to know what's available, and they don't. The challenge is through the housing bust and the dot-com bust, it wiped out over half of the licensed people in this country. And 80% of the surviving licensed people don't know this either, because they were only taught 401k and IRA. They don't know it. And I've been a kitchen table guy. I came from a side of the tracks. I was the financial guy. I was the guy, you saw a card or something, save money, and I came to your home. Literally with a briefcase and a kid. Another long story, but my 25-year-old, before he had to go to school, he begged to go on appointments with me. He could do a presentation as good as me. I said, son, just join, do it. He's an executive sous chef, and he's going to college for music. I said, just do this with me. He said, Dad, I already did it for 20 years. I want to do something else. This is a big deal. And here's the fun part. If you will tell the person you just thought of, if you're willing to tell them, we're going to show you the money. You get paid to tell them. How simple is that? Just open up your mouth. You don't have to be good, because there's no competition out there. 95% of this nation's population don't know about it. 80% of the licensed people don't know it either. It's a wide open playing field. Not my opinion. I'm going to back it up with fact. I'm a numbers guy. I'll give you fact after fact after fact, and I can go toe-to-toe with anybody and win the argument if they want to give it to me. Because this is real. The thing is I've been doing this almost 30 years. I'd like to take a break. We need help. Will you help us? Will you share this with the people who you know? It's that big of a deal. And here's the fun part. You get paid to tell them, and people need to make more money. 51% of adults only have a part-time job. That's from the Department of Health and Social Services and the Labor Department of this country. And they just said we just added 280,000 jobs. Big whoop. They're part-time. They don't pay enough. The companies we work with have billions of dollars in liquid cash reserves ready to pay these commissions. I'm talking about Fidelity and Guarantee. Half a century old, just merged with Ongbang, the second largest financial organization in China. Huge. AIG, the largest insurance company on the planet. National Life Group, we're the #1 producers in the country, in the United States, for these companies. And this is the only industry that can leverage a $300 policy into $1,000 in commissions, in income. Now, in traditional business, if you bought a product, who has a cell phone they can loan to me? I see one right here, I'll take it. But I'll give it back, I promise. Now, this is yours. Maybe not. This is yours,
It is.
okay? Now, when you got this, let's say you spent $300 on it. Somebody's calling me.
Don't read it.
Just kidding. But if you spent $300, do you think maybe they made $150 on it?
Yeah.
$200? Do you think if they sold it to you for $300, do you think they made $400 on this? How could they?
Well,
No, not the service, just the phone itself. Okay?
just the.
No, that's not how business works. There's a keystone. You know, we'll double what it costs us to make it, and but we make less money than what we sold it to you for. That's just standard business, right? Well, what we do is we show people a better place to park their money. That's all we do. With 100-year-old company, they don't give you the money. They park it. They say, hey, put it with this company right here, half a century. Just partner with China, this huge company in China. Go for it. You can get a rate of return on real estate with that, tax-free. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, take your money and put it right over here. Now, is that still yours?
Yes.
Yes, it is. You can still get that.
Yes.
Did you know that they're going to pay me to have her put her money over there?
Yes.
Now, let's say that you're doing $300 a month. That's $75 a week. Most people waste more money in fast food and lattes than $75 in a week. That's $3,600 a year. Commissionable based on that's about $3,000 at a district manager level. I'm going to show you how to get to district manager in 2 weeks. You can do it in a week. It's simple. That's $1,500 in your pocket. So we're going to help you put away $300, and we're going to pay you $1,500. Kind of backwards math, isn't it? But these companies, how they do it is they're paying on average about a 9 to 10% rate of return on their money. They're earning 11 to 12. That 1 to 2% doesn't sound huge, but they have billions of them. That adds up to a lot. And they're able to do it, and they've been around for decades, well, actually, years and years, 100 years, some of them, longer. National Life Group, 167. This is time-tested and proven. And you can make money 2 different ways with our company. One, you can tell somebody about it, you can help her put away her $75. At the end of the day, she gets all of her money back plus interest tax-free. Whether you die too soon, got sick along the way, or live a long and healthy life. Good for you. And you got paid to tell her. Good for you. The challenge is if you're out there selling, now you're out of business until you have somebody to sell another policy to. If you go on vacation, you're not making money. So, but that's one way of making money. Here's another way. We have a referral program. You can build your own little agency if you want to. You can tell Bill, Mel, Pat, Sue, and Tom about it, and you can give them the same opportunity that you got. Why? Because they know people you don't know, and you can't work hard enough to tell them all. So we spread the wealth. Maybe Tom down here has an insurance agency, they do $1 million a year in business. There's a lot of those here in Sacramento, by the way. You start a rep level, takes 2 weeks to get to the district manager, takes about a week to get there, takes 2 weeks to get there, takes about a month to get to RVP. Once you get there, you'll always make an 8 to a 31% commission override. So if you told Tom about this, and he had that $1 million agency, you will always earn a minimum of an 8% override. In other words, you would get $80,000 a year before you get out of bed. And now you're making money in your absence. And that's how you can take a vacation for 2 weeks and come home with more money than you had when you left. Because you empowered somebody else to have what you have. Success defined is not how successful you become, but how successful you help others become. Because people don't know, or excuse me, don't care what you know until they know that you care. And we care. It's all about people. We have the best compensation system in the industry, period, bar none. There is no comparison. That gets bigger as we talk. And you can do this part-time. Help 2 families, that regional manager, get there in a week. It's easy, I'll show you how. Help 2 families a month put away $300. Now that may sound a lot. So how about $75 a week? Sounds easier, doesn't it? How about $20 a day, or a 5-day work week, take the weekends, $20, that's it. Okay, that's not even a Happy Meal and a scone and a latte, is it? Do you realize over a 5-day work, that's $100 a week? I'm talking 75. This is better. This is cheaper. Help 2 families a month, and you're making almost $4,000. That's $48,000 a year in income. Part-time, 2 people a month, that's it. Now, tell them about it. Say, they're going to pay a referral fee, might as well pay it to you. Do you need more money at the end of your month instead of month at the end of your money? And if they know what you said, yes they do. And maybe they just go out and instead of helping 2 families, they only help 1. The number down here is $73,000 a year. Now, if you're making $73,000 a year, do you think you can tell your employer, I'm sorry, but I have to put you on part-time because my part-time job is making more than my full-time? Or I just can't afford to work for you anymore because guess what? You got a raise. You're now an RVP. You now have time to help 1 family a week. Same numbers, 1 family a week is $10,000 a month. How many people in this room, by a show of hands, makes 10 grand a month every month, month in, month out, other than this guy? You can't raise your hand. Would you like to?
Yeah.
I just showed you how. And all you have to do is remember 3 letters, STP. Now I know we're old in this, and that's an oil additive, and when I was a kid I had STP stickers too everywhere. See the people, share the program. Finish the process, help them get one of these policies, and sign the paperwork. And you get paid to help them do that. Add a couple more people to your team, the bottom figure down here is $187,000. And you're helping 10 families a month. That's it, just 10 a month, you're making $187 grand a year. Now, do you think that you might know 3 people who'd want to make $187 grand a year? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, would you want to help your family or friend? So would you care about them enough to say, hey, we'll help you make 187 grand, and you tell them? If gas was at 75 cents a gallon around the corner at Smith and 2nd Street, would you tell them? Yeah, how many? All of them on my phone. Tell them! And let's help.